Hey everyone, thank you for listening to the Pain and Panic Trip Planning Podcast. My name is Haley Ragsdale, and I'm here with my brother Owen Rederer.
Hey guys.
We're a sibling duo who loves everything Disney and Universal, especially the theme parks. I'm a travel agent affiliated with Academy Travel, and I would love to help you plan your next Disney vacation or Universal vacation. So you can reach out to me at Haley.Ragsdale at academytravel.com to start planning your next dream vacation at Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Universal, Adventures by Disney, Disney Cruise Line, and so much more. Okay, so today we are ranking our top 10 Disney villains. So I hope y'all are ready. I feel like we're
Oh
going to
yeah.
argue a lot, but it'll be okay. We'll still be siblings at the end of this episode. Um,
Hopefully.
Before we get into it, next week we'll be doing a trip recap of my trip to Universal Epic Universe this upcoming weekend. I'm pumped. I'm excited. I'm going to be staying at the Terra Luna Resort, or is it Terra Nova? Wait, it's
Terra
Stella
Luna.
and Terra Nova, right?
I thought it was
That's
Terra Luna.
well, there's two new resorts, and it's Stella something and Terra something, and it's either
Oh.
Nova or Luna for the two, but I'm staying at the Terra one. So I'm super excited. I'll probably go. I'm flying in Friday, flying home Monday. So I will be going to Epic Universe on Sunday. So I'll probably head to Disney Springs on Friday. So make sure you're following me on Instagram. It's Haley Ragsdale Travel. I'm going to be putting out a lot of content while I'm down there and then afterwards as well. So I'm really excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. But I'll probably hit up Disney Springs, show you all sorts of stuff with the new hotels and all that kind of stuff at Universal. I don't know if I'll make it over to Grand Helios, but we'll see. And then I'll probably hit up City Walk Saturday night, and then I'll be at Epic Universe all day Sunday. So I'm super excited. I can't wait.
And
I
if
wish.
this podcast gets 100,000 views, I will ditch work and go with her. So make it
Sorry,
happen, guys.
Owen will call into Cracker Barrel if we get 100,000 views. Okay, are you ready to get into this thing?
Of course I am.
Okay, go ahead.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
I do have a couple. I want to talk about our scaling systems because I feel like we may have different scaling systems.
That's true.
I was kind of basing mine on my personal opinions, but not necessarily who's the baddest of the bad, if that makes sense. I mean, I do have some of like the baddest of the bad toward the top of my list anyways, but I just wanted to clarify that I was mainly going off of the ones I liked versus who's the baddest of the bad, like who I think is just like a horrible person.
Yeah. I mean, mine's kind of, I don't know if I really had a scale. I think I was just going, because I definitely don't have the baddest of the bad. There are some people on here who I feel like are misunderstood. There are people here who I think are genuinely like the evilest people. I just like some of their backstories. I've got a mix of everything. So I guess it really is personal preference for mine. So yeah, I mean, I'll explain with each character why I chose them and why I love them and why I love the idea of their, character. But yeah,
Cool,
it'll be
cool.
cool.
So yeah, some of my honorable mentions. So that's kind of why I wanted to start with that because I have a couple people on here who I just think are horrible and they're my honorable mentions because I'm like, I don't like them, but I feel like we have to talk about them because they're just like villains, right? So my first honorable mention is Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame, who's just a horrible human being. Like, have you seen The Hunchback of Notre Dame?
I haven't, but I know who you're talking about.
He's horrible. And I
Yeah.
feel like you need to go back and watch that movie and you'll be like, oh my, how did they get away with making this? Like, this is kind of terrifying. But he basically uses like Christianity as a weapon and is like killing people and all sorts of things like in the name of God. And he does have a song Hellfire, which is an actually really good song. Like, well, it's a really bad song, but it's a really good song. You know what I'm saying? Like it's catchy and gets the meaning across, but it's pretty horrible. Like
Yeah.
just that whole movie and him, I can't stand that character. He's the worst.
Fair enough. Well, how many honorable mentions do you have?
I have 4, including Frollo.
Okay, I've got 3. So just go ahead and list your 4, and then I'll list my 3 just to knock
Okay.
them out.
So my other 2 that I put on there that I was just like, I just can't stand them. One of them's Clayton from Tarzan.
Yeah, he's pretty bad. He's
He's
pretty evil.
horrible. And he tries to like literally kill all the gorillas and like all sorts of stuff. And then the way he dies is just like traumatic. Like how he
Oh,
hangs from the tree or whatever. It's
yeah.
horrible. Um and then my other one that's just like a horrible person that I feel like we had to talk about is Sid from Toy Story. Because he literally just tortures animals and toys. Like
For real. That kid was genuinely just an evil, evil kid.
literally. And my other villain is also from Toy Story, and that is Emperor Zurg. And I just felt like we had to mention him because I love Zurg.
Yeah, Zurg. Okay, Zurg is just cool. He's a cool villain. He's so like, I mean, he's pretty much harmless. Like he doesn't do anything in the movies. Like I know he tries to, but he's so useless. But he is evil, but he's just cool. He's
Yeah.
cool.
And the whole like, because I feel like they were trying to go for like a Darth Vader kind of thing because he's like, Buzz, I'm your father, or whatever. And he's like, no, in the movie. And then that clip, I think it's at the end of Toy Story 2. And he's like, Zurg's like shooting the balls, and Buzz is like going to catch him. And he's like, you're a great dad, Dad.
Yeah.
This cracks me up.
Oh, good. Oh, yeah. So for my 3 honorable mentions, number 1 is Oogie Boogie from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, he's
Um,
on the actual list.
yeah, see, I would put him on my actual list, but aesthetic wise, I don't really like how he looks. Like I don't like the fact that he's just a sack of bugs. Like I think it's just kind of gross and doesn't really do it for me. But his personality, his emotional aesthetic, I guess you could put it, and also that movie's great, and I think he plays a very important role in that movie. So I like him, I just don't love him. So I put him in my honorable mentions. Then I have Yzma.
I was gonna say well, she's on my list too. The ones that are on your list that are on your honorable mentions that are on my list, I'll talk about them when I get into my list.
Okay. Are both of those on your list?
Yes.
Dang. Well, I just didn't think
You,
they made my
you
cut.
knew Yzma would be on my list. Are you kidding?
I did know. I did know she was going to be on your list. Yzma's great. She's honestly one of the best villains, but I just don't have as strong of an emotional connection to her as I do the other people on my list. But I love that movie. It's a fantastic movie, The Emperor's New Groove, and I love her aesthetic. The purple, and then the way that her scenes go, where they're very like 2-dimensional animation, like boom, 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 like when they're on the roller coaster and stuff. And she's just funny evil, right? Last for my honorable mentions, I have Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog, also probably
On my list.
honestly, the only reason he's in my honorable mentions is because, I've only watched the movie once, so I'm not very attuned with the movie as a whole. But aesthetic wise, he seems like the perfect villain for me because his scenes are so full of color, so full of like whimsical, you know, death spells and stuff. I don't know. Like, I feel like he should be in my top 10, but I just don't know him enough to be able to say that he should be in my top 10. So I put him in my honorable mentions because, I want to give him a shout out. But anyways,
I'll defend him later.
yeah, you'll talk about him later. I think it's time to get into our top 10, Haley.
Yeah, let's do it. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
I'll let you go first.
Okay, so my number 10, I feel like you'll be surprised this isn't higher on my list, is Syndrome from The Incredibles.
Oh, dang. I really thought he was going to be higher.
I know, right? But I feel like I had a lot more of the classic villains toward the top of my list, but I feel like Syndrome needed a place on the list.
Yeah.
Because really he's very smart, right? Like he's one of those
Yeah.
villains where you're like, okay, I can totally see where he's coming from. And not that I agree with him, but he makes sense. Also, he's just hilarious. Like all of his comments throughout the movie crack me up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I do love me some Syndrome. I do like his backstory. The way that he wanted to meet Mr. Incredible, the hero of, like his favorite person in the world, and Mr. Incredible yells at him or whatever, the whole scene. Everybody knows it. I think that's such a good evil villain arc story. You know what I mean? It's a classic. So I can
Agreed.
understand why he was on your list. He's not going to be on mine, though.
Okay. Who's your
Uh,
number 10?
so for my number 10, this one I guess, is kind of a weird pick, but it is Ernesto de la Cruz from Coco.
Yeah.
I just love how absolutely evil this guy is. Like,
Yes.
straight up, I guess we should put a. I'm going to give some spoilers here. So if you haven't seen Coco, you might want to skip this part or like cover your ears or just be prepared for some spoilers.
It's been out for a while.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of spoilers in this episode, but with the way that like he takes ownership of Coco's father's work, kills him, and then just becomes this huge star outside of the world and in the underworld. It's just crazy. He acts like this super nice guy, but it turns out that he like completely stole this guy's life, and that movie's just incredible. And he's just so evil, and so I kind of like him, and I like the whole aesthetic of him being, an undead mariachi member. So
That's fair.
I think it's a cool character, and I felt like he deserved to be top 10. So
No, I think that's solid. I would also love to see him during like Halloween season at Disney. I know he's sometimes in like the
yeah,
parade and stuff. He's one of
oh
my goal meet and greets.
yeah,
Okay, my number 9 is Hans from Frozen.
ew, that's disgusting. Get him out of here.
Okay, but when at the end of the movie, when she's like her heart is freezing over or whatever, and all she needs is like true love's kiss to stay alive, and he looks her in the eyes and says, "Too bad nobody loves you." I'm like, oh, roasted.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty brutal.
Brutal. Like, homeboy is like basically as soon as he meets her, sings a song with her about how he's in love with her, and then acts like he's gonna be like a prince and all that. And I mean, the first time I watched that movie and I didn't know Hans was a bad guy, but like you get to that part and you're like, oh, he's gonna kiss her and everything's gonna be okay, even though we all love Kristoff and we'd rather her end up with Kristoff. And then he's like, too bad nobody loves you. I was like, oh, I was not ready for that twist. Um, so yeah, I put Hans.
See, I don't know. He's just kind of ugly, so I didn't want to. I don't really like him, like aesthetic wise. And then he's just evil, but like not in like a clever way. He's just mean. He's just a mean man. So
I guess
I
so.
guess I'll give you some respect, but
He's a
not
savage.
my choice. For my number 9. Now this is one of my misunderstood characters. This is Robert Callaghan from Big Hero 6. So the
Yeah.
professor. So honestly, I love the idea that the whole time you don't expect him to be the villain, and it's one of those things where you see him and you're like, no, not the professor. We love the professor. Like everybody loves him, and then you find out he's the villain, and then you're like, oh, do I hate him? Do I love him? And then in the end, you find out that he just wants to get his daughter back or get revenge for his daughter, right? I guess I guess he didn't expect to get his daughter back, but that's always just a heartwarming part of the end of the movie. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I get the revenge part, and I just think he's a cool character, and I really loved him in the beginning, and so the empathy in me was like, I still love him, and I just love his backstory, and that's a good movie. So that's my number 9 pick.
That's fair. No, I'd agree with that. That's a solid pick. Whenever Tadashi dies though in the beginning, that gets me every time.
Yeah, and
Every
like he's
single
like, yeah, and the main character, I forget his name, but
hero.
yeah, Hero. What am I doing? I literally, I was literally about to say, I was like, wait a second, his name is Hero. When Hero is like, you could have saved him, blah blah blah. Yeah, that part really like breaks your heart.
Yes, 100%. It's brutal. Okay, what are we on? Number 8. Okay,
Yep.
my number 8 is Ursula.
Okay.
Just because she's fabulous and she deserves to be on the list. Like, her songs are fantastic. She's, you know, the queen of the sea and is going to make sure everybody knows it. She's
Yeah,
based after a drag queen. Like, she's just fabulous and I love her.
that's valid. I do love Ursula as well, but I all you listeners, you probably are going to notice that Haley will definitely have more traditional villains than I do. I've got a lot of like off-brand villains. So
Off-brand villains.
I,
You've got the Aldi villains.
yeah, I've got the Aldi
Those villains.
the team B team B villains, the ones you don't expect. So
Exactly. If you're Walmart, I'm Target.
yeah, exactly. But no, Ursula's a good pick. Yeah, I can't argue with that.
Fair.
So for my number 8, this is the this is the off-brand Incredibles villain,
Oh,
Bon Voyage.
that's a pick. I love Voyage.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you don't get to see a lot of Bon Voyage, but he struts in there with his style. He's got this great, whole aesthetic that he has. No, so nonchalant. Yeah, I mean, I just think he's a fun character, and so I had to put him on my list. He's great.
Incredible.
Incredible. Oh my gosh, I love Bon Voyage.
You are not affiliated with me. It's so funny. Lucas has started getting into the Incredibles, and it makes me so happy. They're
Oh
so
my
good.
god,
He
they
laughs
really are.
every time in Incredibles 2 when Jack is fighting the raccoon. He like is invested every single time, and I'm like, this boy's about to go outside and fight a raccoon.
Yeah, you're gonna have to watch him outside from now on.
Literally. Okay, so my number 7 is Oogie Boogie.
Okay.
And I'm going to defend him now after you so rudely put him on your honorable mentions list.
Hey, I gave him some good words. Okay.
I get the like not liking his aesthetic because it does creep me out every time I think about the fact he's made out of bugs. But I think that's just very Tim Burton-esque, and especially with
Yeah.
that movie and it being like Nightmare Before Christmas, like that all fits and tracks. And he's like, not only is he the image of like villainy, he's like the image of Halloween, which kind of go hand in hand. Like if there was a holiday for villains, it would be Halloween, right? And so the
That's true.
fact that he's probably the one of the most like creepy, scary characters that will actually scare kids that Disney has, I feel like he deserves to be on the list. And maybe even higher. I mean, they literally make like the Halloween bash in Disneyland is Oogie Boogie Bash. So it's literally like
Yeah.
he's their centerpiece villain, and I love it, and I want to go so bad. So yeah, I think he deserves respect.
Hey, listen, I put him in my honorable mentions because I thought he deserved respect. And he almost did sneak into my top 10. And I do get the whole point with it being very Tim Burton-esque. I love Tim Burton, and I love almost all the characters in that movie, so I get it. But if I were gonna pick a villain from that movie, it'd probably be the scientist because he's stupid and small
Okay.
and ugly. I think it's funny. When he like
Is it
drinks the
Toad's
soup,
breath? Is that what
he looks so stupid.
he's like? I mean, like Toad's breath or whatever he says, like
Yeah.
it masks poison or whatever it is. And Sally's like, "Oh no, definitely not that."
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a good movie.
It's a fabulous movie, and you can watch it Halloween through Christmas.
That is true. That is true. It's perfect.
It's
All right.
it's a regular in our household.
Moving on to number 7 for me. This one, Haley, I think you'll appreciate this pick. I'm going with Bradley Uppercrust the Third from the extremely goofy movie. This is one of those goofy villains that you're like, they don't really count as a villain, but he is the antagonist in the movie. And him and his big henchmen and his tiny little, like, grown-up henchmen.
You're the one with the creepy mustache.
Yeah. I just think they're hilarious, and obviously they're just college boys being mean and being sinister, and that movie's so funny. And I think they add like a special level. One's this stupid brute. Bradley is this arrogant, just
Rat boy.
yeah, exactly. And then you have the little munchkin guy. I don't know. He's just a cutie patootie, I guess. But I love.
Across the third.
Yeah, he's just a fun, harmless antagonist. Even though he tries to,
Blow him up.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess he's not harmless, but still.
Literally tries to blow them up.
But definitely my number 7.
That's fair. I love Bradley Uppercrust the Third. I didn't even think about him though. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, my number 6 is Scar from The Lion King.
Okay, yeah, solid.
I feel like he's one of those where he's like, I started Mufasa. Lucas got scared when we started it, so we haven't finished it. So I need to sit down and watch it, but I also haven't heard great things. But I'd love to see more of that backstory in why Scar, hated Mufasa and killed him.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's like your classic, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like royal fights and things like that. Like it's your classic killing your brother so you can become king kind of thing. And his song's fantastic. I feel like he's very sinister, and they probably should have just killed him. Like, I don't know why he was just allowed to be alive and walking around and influencing Simba, but he was. But yeah, I felt like he's really smart. He's one of those classic villains, and his song is a banger.
That's valid. Honestly, a great.
Nerd.
I'm gonna let you sing real quick.
I'm good. My system.
Yeah, I think he just has a great aesthetic, so that's a very valid pick. Yeah, I just don't really like The Lion King that much, so he wasn't going to make my list. Anyways, before you call me a loser or whatever, for my number 6, it is Chef Skinner from Ratatouille, the short little guy. He is literally diabolical. He's just constantly trying to get Linguini in trouble. He's just so. I mean, he's just a stupid villain, honestly. Like, he doesn't get anything done. He's not successful whatsoever. Like, that should have been such an easy win for a villain. But he's stupid, and yeah, I just think he's funny. It's funny watching him fail and watching him, lose his business pretty much. So. Yeah.
You didn't say the critic. What was the critic's name?
Well, so I almost did choose the critic, which I'm trying to think, what is his name? Oh, see, now you got me blanking. Yeah, but either way, the critic, I don't see him as a villain. I feel like he's a very neutral character.
Anton Ego.
Yes, Ego. That's what it is. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I don't think Ego is inherently evil. He kind of has like this rough, these rough characteristics that really define him. And a lot of people see him as a villain. But Ego, at the end of the day, he's just doing his job and being kind of a bleep word about it. So, but at the end, he appreciates the restaurant. And yeah, I don't really think he's a villain. I think he's just, kind of rough around the edges.
Have you heard the theory that Remy, the little cottage he's in at the beginning with the little old lady?
That's I already know what you're going to say.
Yeah, have you heard that's actually Anton's mom, and that's why Remy makes ratatouille like his mother used to make?
Yeah. Well, I don't even think that's a theory. I think that's just real, because the way that it transfers him back in time to where he's sitting at the table eating ratatouille, that was the one thing that Remy saw his mom make the most. And that's why I feel like, I don't know if Remy knew that was going to be the saving dish. He knew that was going to be his childhood favorite, but knowing that he was going to make that's what he could make best, or that's what was going to be the best option. I don't know. I think that that's pretty much a confirmed theory. Like I don't even know if that's a theory anymore.
Yeah, no, that's fair because he does have that like flashback and stuff.
Yeah, and if it is a theory, it's definitely true. There's no way that that's not the case. But
I agree.
yeah.
All right, my number 5. I gotta defend him now, Dr. Facilier.
Once again, I didn't hate on him. I just don't know anything about him.
I think if you watch the movie again, he would be higher on your list because, like you said, his aesthetic is very like colorful, and all the voodoo stuff is really cool. And then, his song is fantastic.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Are you ready? It's so good. That whole movie is just fantastic. Especially with the music and the New Orleans vibes and all that. I think with him too, they did a really good job of like using the like New Orleans thoughts and the culture and all that kind of stuff. They used all of that so well, and even like his villain is, he's a voodoo man, right? And so I just think they did a phenomenal job with that film in general. And then I think he's a fantastic villain, and like when he gets like dragged basically to hell at the end, it's actually a really cool scene, but
yeah.
a little scary,
No.
but real cool.
Yeah, no, I totally get that pick, and aesthetically, he is amazing. I really do need to go back and watch that movie because I bet I would rank him in my top 10, but I don't know who I would take out of my top 10. I've got such a solid top 10, so I don't know. But respect, I can respect that option.
Sure.
Okay, for number 5, I feel like you're not gonna like this pick, but this movie is kind of a comfort movie for me, and so my villain is going to be Otto from WALL-E, the literal wheel that controls the ship.
Dude, I was like, I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, okay, so
WALL-E.
this is definitely a comfort movie, and I like the way that it, like, his whole arc, like his whole aesthetic completely contrasts from WALL-E. Because WALL-E is this example of this sentient robot that is super sweet, super nice, and is, great for mankind. But then you have Otto, who is the controller of the ship. He ends up being the real captain of the ship and is the reason why humanity on this ship is dying and is becoming obese and unable to, live on their own, because he's just subconsciously, like, or not subconsciously, he's like just behind the captain telling him what to do and making him make all these bad decisions. And I think that's so cool how they incorporated an evil robot into it as well. You know what I mean? Like you'd almost think that the villain would just be the captain, and that the captain, or like the villain in the story, is just humanity's stupidity, right? Like that's what you would think when you're watching WALL-E, but then you find out it's Otto and you're like, oh my god! And the humans aren't actually bad. You know what I mean?
I feel like this all goes back to the Pixar theory and how machines take over the world.
Hey, you're not wrong. That is very true.
I know. Still.
Yeah, Otto is my number 5 pick.
Weird pick.
Okay.
Oh, my number 4. I'm going to defend my girl now.
Oh.
My number 4 is Yzma.
Once again, I didn't say any of these characters are bad. They're in my honorable mention for a reason. Go ahead.
And part of it is because we didn't mention this at the start of the podcast episode, which we should have, but we talked about this earlier today when we were talking about what we were going to do for the episode, that henchmen, we weren't going to rank henchmen, and they would be considered like helping their villain rise to the top. And who is Yzma without Kronk?
That is very true.
Put those two together, and they're going to climb the list of villains. They're hilarious. They're also kind of scary. Like, don't they literally call her, I don't remember what they call Yzma, but whenever Cusco's doing like his monologuing or whatever, where it like pauses and he's like, literally I don't remember what he calls her, but he calls her something.
I can try and look it up.
Okay, but they like they're just perfect. They're the way they banter back and forth. And I do love that she's not just like evil all the time and like blows Kronk off, right? Like she's like when he's talking about his spinach puffs and then he's like, "Oh, well, do we have time for what is it, tea or something?" He's like, "Do we have time for a cup of tea?" And she's like,
Yeah.
okay, yes, one cup, whatever it is. Like, it just cracks me up. And whenever Kronk's doing his like sneaky walk, and he's like duh 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 duh, and people are looking at him like, what is wrong with this guy? I don't know. They're that pair is fantastic. Yzma's fantastic. She's funny, but she's also evil. Like, I don't know. She makes me happy, even though she's a bad guy.
Yeah. See, I did find that he calls or it's not what she or he calls her necessarily, or at least is what I found. But he does say that she is scary beyond all reason.
What it was, the scary
Yeah.
beyond all reason.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I get why they're so high on your list. And if I had room, I probably would have put them in my top 10 because they're a hilarious dynamic duo. I mean, so funny. So funny. I love Yzma and Kronk. Um, and I mean, when you watch them in the movie, you know, she's just really that inherently evil, but then Kronk is just stupid and follows her like a dog. And so, and it's also funny seeing Kronk's angel and devil pop up on his shoulders and be like, so, yeah, I totally get that.
They're hilarious.
All right, time for my number 4 pick. This one is actually kind of a combo. So, you know, because, like, and you'll get why I'm doing this as a combo. So, this includes a misunderstood character and an inherently evil character, and that is Goob and the bowler hat from Meet the Robinsons. um, yeah, I just love Goob. Like, he's so funny as a villain adult. Because, you know, obviously he doesn't really have the intentions of being like, oh, yeah, I want to murder everybody and, like, control the world and all this. He's just kind of pissed. Oh, I didn't mean this. He's kind of bleeped off about. He's kind of mad about the fact that his baseball game got ruined, right? Like, it's a stupid reason to be a villain. He kind of reminds me of Robbie Rotten from Lazy Town.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Robbie Patton.
yeah, that should be on my list. But no, the bowler hat though is just so evil. I mean, like this bowler hat just wants to destroy the world, run the world, and it's another evil robot, just like Otto. I think I just have a thing for evil robots. I think that's I think that's just super cool. Um, and like using a human as their body, I guess, in a way. So I love the bowler hat. I love Goob. That's Meet the Robinsons is a great movie. And I think, having and I guess this kind of goes the same for Yzma and Kronk. You have this like balance of having this funny, goofy, evil character and then having this like actually evil character. You know what I mean? And they just pair well in that sense. It gives the movie some good backstory while also having some good comedic relief throughout. So
That's fair. I didn't even think about them, but I think that's fair. I think that's a solid pick. All right, my number 3.
oh,
You're
top
like, oh,
three.
dog. So my number 3 is Chernabog from Fantasia.
Is that the like big devil guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Because he's like literally like if you look into like the lore behind Fantasia and all that, he's literally supposed to be like the big bad evil. Like he's supposed to be
Yeah.
the big bad evil. And so I felt like he deserved a spot toward the top. Basically, my top 3 are like the biggest bads in Disney. Like they're
Yeah.
literally just like they're supposed to be like evil. Also, as soon as I said that, there was a like a lightning strike and thunder. And it kind of scared me. So
Evil.
I know evil. Boom.
Yeah. I mean, I already know what your top 2 are, but I'm not gonna say them. I won't spoil it.
Do you? I don't know that you do.
Oh, I think I do. I I mean, I obviously know one of them because we talked about it before the podcast started. But I know what your other one is because I know who one of your favorite villains are. You collect
Okay,
a lot of toys for this villain, so
that's
I
fair.
know. Anyways, my number three, Haley. I bet you're expecting this to be a little higher because you mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast. But
No.
my number three is Turbotastic or
Oh,
King Candy.
fantastic.
um, I love Wreck-It Ralph, and I think King Candy slash Turbo is just such a clever character. Because, you see King Candy, and you're like, you can tell that something's off with him, but you don't immediately think that he's like the evil character. I kind of just thought he was annoying at first, and I was like, yeah, this guy's just supposed to be an annoying character that gets in the way, right? With that saying, I do love King Candy. But then he ends up genuinely being such a malicious character. This character that literally, ruined his game because of his own like arrogant narcissism, right? Like he ruined his own game and then traveled to another game to ruin that one and be the center of attention. Like that is so crazy. Narcissism is a real thing. I bet you've met a lot of real life villains that have that. um, but yeah, I love Turbo's whole aesthetic. And also, I mean, if you include henchmen, the little sour gumball guy who's not actually evil, he just, is told to serve King Candy. So I love King Candy. I love that movie, and I think he plays such an important role in one of my favorite movies. So he's gonna be in my top three.
That's
I
fair.
love him. Turbotastic.
That's fair. Solid pick. I really thought he was going to be higher on your list, but
Yep.
it's
Have
fair.
some candy.
My goodness. All right. My number two is the mistress of all evil herself,
What?
Maleficent.
I thought she was gonna be number one.
Mm,
Oh, but I knew it.
You
I
should
knew
know
it.
me better than that. Nope, she's my number two. I love her because she's like basically if you think of like I don't know, she's just the Disney queen. Like she's the
Yeah.
mistress of all evil. Like she is the queen of the villains. She's top dog. Like I'm so excited for the villain show, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be her castle in Villains Land. Like I'm ready. I'm so ready.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Maleficent is super cool. Just a great aesthetic, genuinely evil. So I get why she's in your top 10. Maleficent's movie, which Maleficent is from, oh crap. See, now I'm
Sleeping
gonna like
Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty. I was about to say that. You spoiled my victory. Um, yeah, I mean, I've watched Sleeping Beauty like once when I was really young, and I didn't plan on watching it again. Uh, I'm more of a fan of the newer princess movies like Moana, Brave, etc., stuff like that. So, Sleeping Beauty isn't really up my alley, and that means Maleficent isn't really up my alley. But she's a super cool character though, and the big dragon that she turns into is super cool as well.
Yes, that is something to talk about though, because she's Sleeping Beauty's villain, right? And so
Yeah.
Sleeping Beauty's castle is in Disneyland in California. And Cinderella's castle is the one in Disney World, but they're putting in Villains Land in Disney World and Magic Kingdom. And the rumor is that they'll do Maleficent's castle as like the centerpiece in that land.
Oh.
So I know it's gonna be awesome. But like my only thing with that is like in my organized, slightly OCD brain, I'm like, no, I need her castle to be with Aurora's castle. Like it doesn't make sense with Cinderella's castle.
Yeah.
But no,
That's
no, that's just
valid.
my brain.
Haley, I'm gonna go ahead and let you do your number one because I don't want to spoil your saying because I'm
Okay.
pretty sure my number two is your number one. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and say your number one.
My number one is the king of the underworld, Mr. Hades.
Yep.
I mean, he's literally like king of the underworld. Like he's literally supposed to be the devil, pretty much. But his character is so funny. And then with
Yeah.
Pain and Panic as his sidekicks, they're even funnier. Like he's literally trying to destroy the world, but like a part of you is kind of rooting for him because he's like hysterical.
Yeah.
obviously you want Hercules to win because it's Hercules, but at the same time, you're like, oh, I feel kind of bad for Hades. Like his brother's kind of a jerk. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. And I've always loved like Greek mythology and all that kind of stuff. Like I find it super interesting. Um, and so I've always loved Hercules. Like it's one of my favorite movies. It might be my favorite Disney movie. Like Hercules has always been my dude. The music in that's fantastic. I just love everything about it. I love Hades. I love his character. Um, his witty comebacks. Like it's just so good. Pain and Panic are hilarious, obviously. I mean, that's literally the name of our podcast, so obviously we
Yeah.
like that. But I don't know. He's awesome. He's my number one.
Yeah.
I couldn't put anyone else as my number one.
Obviously, with that, my number 2 pick is Hades as well. So, I mean, obviously, like Haley said, Hades is so funny, and Pain and Panic are so funny. Like that, they make that movie. I think that's the reason why I love Hercules so much is because of Hades and Pain and Panic. And like you said, genuinely, sometimes I am rooting for Hades. You know, I watch the movie over and over again. And I'm like, maybe this time, maybe in an alternate reality, he wins. Um, but you know, he's just so funny. He's so witty, and you know, I mean, none of our listeners can be surprised because we are literally the Pain and Panic trip planning podcast. Yeah, so you can't be surprised when Hercules, that movie, makes it into a majority of our top 10 lists, especially the top 3.
Yep.
But yeah, with that, my number 1, Haley, this might surprise you a little bit. My number 1 is Mother Gothel from Tangled.
Interesting.
I think she is such a bad woman in the right way and the wrong way. May have a little crush on her, but anyways, her songs, her songs are so amazing. She has that like whole aesthetic of just being like sneaky and just like that like bad woman character. I don't know. I just love her aesthetic. I think she plays a really big role in the movie, obviously being the villain, and I think she really makes the movie for me. Like I think I watched Tangled because of Mother Gothel. You know, like Flynn Rider, cool. Rapunzel, probably, you know, at least in my top 5 princesses. But, you know, she doesn't really make the movie. I mean, I guess Pascal, you know, being the little chameleon he is great. But
and
Mother Gothel,
Maximus.
Yeah, and Maximus the horse. You know, both of them. You know, that movie's great in general, but I think she just has that whole like, oh, I will kill you right now, like aesthetic, and I love it. So Mother Gothel, number 1, and I promise it's not because I just have a crush on her. So
I did not know you had a crush on her, but that's really funny. Now that I mean,
know, how can you not? How can you not? She's awesome.
Okay, let's recap our lists real quick. So on my honorable mentions, I had Sid, Emperor Zurg, Clayton, and Frollo. My number 10 was Syndrome from The Incredibles. Number 9, Hans from Frozen. Number 8, Ursula from The Little Mermaid. Number 7, Oogie Boogie from The Nightmare Before Christmas. Number 6, Scar from The Lion King. Number 5, Dr. Facilier from Princess and the Frog. Number 4, Yzma from The Emperor's New Groove. Number 3, Chernabog from Fantasia. Number 2, Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty. And number 1, Hades from Hercules.
Yep. And for me, my 3 honorable mentions were Yzma, Oogie Boogie, and Dr. Facilier, which Haley was upset about. And for my number 10 spot, Ernesto de la Cruz. Number 9, Robert Callaghan. 8, Bon Voyage. 7, Bradley Uppercrust III. Number 6, Chef Skinner. Number 5, Otto. Number 4, Goob and the Bowler Hat. Number 3, Turbo. Number 2, Hades. And number 1, Mother Gothel.
I think it's funny that we only had one character that was both on our top 10s. Like, Hades was the only one that was on both of our top 10s.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I figured that you were going to go more traditional because I know you're more in tune with the traditional movies, and I know that's where most people kind of find their favorite villains. So I had a feeling that our lists were going to be pretty different. I mean, you know, I'm really up with the newer movies or like the more like the more Aldi picks, the more Team B picks. So, I definitely could have even gone weirder, but I did keep it a little traditional while definitely going with my favorites. But yeah, I want our listeners to let us know who they thought had the better list, who had the better top 10.
And what your top 10 are. Like, I'm surprised Owen didn't have anxiety on there.
See, I did think about it, but honestly, as a whole, I didn't really like Anxiety as a character that much.
Sure.
She almost like annoyed me more than I did enjoy. I did enjoy the story. I enjoyed her role in the story, but also she wasn't villainous enough for me. Like I didn't. You know who I was surprised wasn't on your list was Jafar from Aladdin.
Toyed around with Jafar, but I don't know. I love Aladdin, but Jafar's always creeped me out. Like, he just kind of gives me the, like, ick. Like, I'm like, ugh.
That's fair.
Like, when he's trying to, like, marry Jasmine and all that, I'm like, bruh, no. Like, you
Yeah,
can
it's kind of creepy.
go away.
Kind of weird.
Yeah, exactly. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah. Anything else you want to add, O?
I mean, like Haley said, let us know your top 10. Let us
Yeah.
know who you thought had the better list. And let us know if there were any villains that you were surprised we didn't have on our list. Maybe we're forgetting some that we should have on our list. I tried to think it through. I tried to scroll through all the Disney movies, but I don't know. This is where I ended up. Oh,
Yeah.
Monsters, Inc. I was surprised I didn't pull anybody from Monsters, Inc. because that is one of my favorite movies.
Or
Yeah,
anybody.
Randall. I did not want to pull the crab guy, whatever. I forget his name.
Yeah. Oh, I don't remember his name.
Yeah, but I didn't like him. Honestly, I thought Randall was a better villain than he was. And
Yeah.
then in Monsters University, you have the big dean of the college or whatever. She was cool, but honestly, like I don't watch those movies for those villains. A lot of my villains that I picked, I watch the movies because of those villains. Like they make the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely fair. I feel like I should have put Chick Hicks from Cars on here somewhere.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Because
Just maybe.
he's supposed to be like what Lightning would have turned into if Lightning hadn't ended up in Radiator Springs.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. But yeah. So let us know what we forgot. Obviously, we're already thinking of ones we didn't think about. So we want to hear what you think, who your favorite villains are, ones that, you're screaming at us in your car because we're forgetting. So yeah, let us know. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Haley Ragsdale Travel. I'll be at Epic Universe this upcoming weekend. So this will come out on Friday. I'll be there Sunday, so a couple days after. So follow me on Instagram. Yeah. Oh, and anything else you want to add?
You guys have a magical, magical day.
All right. Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Pain and Panic Trip Planning Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We hope you're one step closer to planning your magical Disney or Universal vacation. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Next week, we will be doing a trip report from my trip to Epic Universe. So it's going to be really fun, exciting. I can't wait to share everything with you that I learn and see and all that kind of stuff. Other than that, if you need any help planning a Disney vacation or a Universal vacation, reach out to me at Haley.Ragsdale at academytravel.com. Follow me on Instagram at Haley Ragsdale Travel and Owen at Owen_Rutterer. Until next time, bye-bye.
See ya.